The café on Orion Station. Orion Station floated in the dark silence of space, shining like a lonely jewel between alien empires. It was a place where traders, soldiers, and wanderers from 100 worlds met, where languages mixed like colors in the air, where secrets changed hands faster than credits. Captain Elias Ward walked through the shining corridor of the station. His boots echoing softly, he looked tired. His ship had just finished a long cargo run from the mining colonies. His uniform was dusty and his mind only wanted one thing: coffee, real old-style Terran coffee. He found a small cafe hidden between two neon stores. Its name glowed in blue letters, Blue Nebula Coffee, inside. The light was warm and golden, and the air smelled of roasted beans mixed with ozone. The crowd was small, mostly aliens with strange eyes and voices like wind. But behind the counter stood a woman who made Elias stop for a second. She was beautiful in a quiet way, her hair silver like moonlight, her eyes glowing faintly blue. She smiled when she saw him, not like a stranger, but like someone who had been waiting. "Welcome, traveler," she said softly, her voice smooth as starlight. "What will it be today?" "Black coffee," Elias replied, dropping a few credits on the counter. Strong as gravity itself, the woman nodded, her fingers moving gracefully across the coffee machine, her movements too precise, too elegant for a normal barista. Elias watched her and felt something strange in his chest, something familiar, but he couldn't place it. She handed him the cup, their fingers brushed. For a second her touch sent a faint pulse of warmth through his skin. Elias blinked, the coffee smelled perfect. But something caught his eye. A small metallic glint inside the cup. It wasn't sugar, it wasn't a spoon, it was a ring. He looked at her, confused. "I think you dropped something," he said, showing the ring between his fingers. Her silver eyes softened. Then she leaned closer across the counter, her voice barely a whisper. "No, Captain Ward," she said, "I didn't drop it. I gave it to you." Elias froze, his name sounded strange coming from her lips. He hadn't told her who he was. He glanced at the ring. It was old, made of a dark metal, engraved with a crest he had seen once long ago in an ancient Terran file. A crest of Earth, a symbol banned across the galaxy since the fall, a circle of stars surrounding a single rising flame. He looked back up, but the cafe around him felt suddenly distant. Quieter, even the alien customers seemed to fade. "Who are you?" he asked carefully. Her voice trembled as she replied. "Someone who has been searching for you for a long time," she said. "Your blood carries the code of the lost crest." She glanced around nervously. "There are watchers here. Take the ring, don't remove it, and act normal." Elias's pulse quickened. He slipped the ring into his palm, hiding it as he took a sip of his coffee. It burned his tongue slightly, but the taste grounded him, his mind racing. Watchers? A code? What did she mean? Earth's crest had been erased from history 2 centuries ago. The alien coalition had made sure of that. "You're mistaken," he muttered, trying to sound calm. "I'm just a trader." She gave him a small, knowing smile. "Traders don't carry encrypted Terran signatures in their DNA," she said softly. "You're not just a man, Elias Ward. You're the last heir of Earth's House of Flame." He almost dropped his cup. The words hit him like a thunder strike. House of Flame, that was legend. The noble house that had commanded the Terran fleets before the final war. He wanted to laugh, to deny it, but deep inside something old stirred. Something that had always been there. A shadow in his dreams. A fire he could never explain. The barista leaned even closer. "They think Earth is dead," she whispered. "But the legacy sleeps, hidden under this station, and only your blood can wake it." Elias opened his mouth to ask more, but the door chimed. A group of tall armored aliens entered, their armor marked with the sigil of the Orion Security Division. The barista's face tightened. Her voice turned calm again. "Your coffee's on the house, Captain," she said loudly, smiling as if nothing was wrong. "Come back any time." Elias nodded, forcing a smile. He turned to leave, feeling the eyes of the armored aliens on his back. He walked into the corridor, the noise of the crowd swallowing him, the ring hidden tight in his fist. When he reached a quiet hallway, he stopped and looked at the small metal circle. It shimmered faintly, almost alive. He turned it slowly, reading the tiny letters engraved inside. "For Earth endures." His heart pounded. He remembered the woman's words. "Finally, I found you." He looked back toward the cafe, but she was gone. The lights inside dimmed. The blue nebula sign flickered once and turned off. The crowd passed him without care, aliens talking, laughing, trading. The galaxy kept moving, but for Elias Ward, everything had just changed. He looked at the ring one last time and whispered under his breath, "What have you done to me?" The ring pulsed with a faint blue light, and somewhere deep beneath Orion Station an ancient Terran signal stirred awake, waiting for the heir who had finally returned. The hidden message. Elias sat alone in his ship's small cabin, the dim light from the console reflecting off the metal ring resting in his palm. His heart still beat faster than it should. His thoughts tangled between disbelief and curiosity. He had flown through war zones, survived pirate attacks, but nothing had ever shaken him like that woman's whisper. He turned the ring over slowly, tracing the smooth surface. Tiny lines of silver light moved beneath it, almost like veins alive, breathing, he whispered to himself. "For Earth endures." The words sounded ancient, older than any map, older than the galaxy's peace treaties. He placed the ring on the table. The ship's sensors flickered. A faint hum filled the air. Suddenly a soft beam of blue light rose from the ring, forming a small holographic projection above it. Elias jumped back, hand on his blaster. But the hologram wasn't a threat, it was an image. An old man appeared, dressed in a dark Terran uniform, his eyes calm, his voice strong and filled with pride. "To the bearer of the crest," the man said, "if you see this, then Earth's blood still flows through your veins." Elias stood frozen, barely breathing. "I am Admiral Leon Ward, commander of the Terran Flame Fleet," the image continued, "and this ring carries the genetic key of our line." Elias felt his throat tighten. His last name was Ward, too. His parents had died when he was a child. They never spoke of their ancestry. "If you are hearing this," the hologram said, "then you must find the codex hidden beneath Orion Station, sealed within the vault of memory. Our enemies think Earth is dust, but its fire sleeps, waiting for you to awaken it." The projection faded, leaving only silence and the faint hum of the ship's engines. Elias sank into his chair, staring at the ring. His mind spun in disbelief. A hidden vault, a codex. Earth's fire, was any of it real? Or was this some ancient trick left to lure survivors into traps? Before he could think further, the ship's radar blinked red. Proximity alert. Someone was scanning his vessel. Elias cursed under his breath, shutting down the hologram. He pressed a button. Locking the ring inside a small data case, he peered out through the viewport. 3 Orion security ships hovered outside, their lights sharp and cold. "Captain Elias Ward," a mechanical voice echoed through the comms. "This is Orion Station Enforcement. You are to remain docked for inspection. Failure to comply will result in detainment." Elias's pulse quickened. How did they find him so fast? Maybe the barista was right, there were watchers. He looked at the ring again, then at the ships outside. Something deep inside him stirred. A voice in his head whispered, "Run." He shut down all external lights, engaged silent mode. His ship's engines hummed softly as he detached from the docking clamp. Moving into the station's shadow, his hands worked fast. Navigating through emergency access tunnels shown on his display, he could feel the scanners searching, sweeping closer. Then the communicator flickered. A small encrypted message flashed on his screen. "Dock 47, lower maintenance bay, come now." Elias frowned. That initial S, could it be her? The barista from the café? Serene, he remembered. She had never said her name, but her tone still echoed in his mind. Calm and knowing, he had no reason to trust her. But no time to think. He steered his ship toward Dock 47, slipping between maintenance arms and cargo containers. The security ships flew past, scanning the wrong sector. His ship glided into the dark lower bay unnoticed. He powered down the engines, heart pounding. The docking ramp opened with a hiss, and there she was, the same woman from the café. Now dressed in a long coat and holding a small hollow device that blinked faint blue, she looked up at him, eyes glowing brighter in the shadows. "You found it," she said quietly. "The ring reacted to your DNA, didn't it?" Elias nodded slowly, stepping down the ramp. "You said my blood carries a code," he said, his voice low. "What does that mean? What is the vault of memory?" Serene looked around carefully, making sure they were alone. Then she opened the hollow device, showing a map of Orion Station's understructure. Glowing lines of light formed shapes like veins under a metallic skin. 200 years ago, when Earth fell, the Terran High Command buried fragments of its knowledge across the colonies, she explained. Orion Station was one of those hiding places, but only those with Terran blood can open it. Elias frowned. "Why me?" "Because your family was one of the flame houses," Serene said, her tone heavy. "They carried the master codes. When the aliens destroyed Earth, your ancestors fled, hiding the key inside your bloodline." She paused. looking into his eyes. You were never just a traitor, Elias. You were born to reignite what they tried to erase. Before he could respond, an alarm blared above. Flashing red light filled the bay. Saren's face hardened. They've traced the signal from the ring, she hissed. We have to move now. They ran through narrow maintenance corridors, the sound of metal boots echoing behind them. Elias followed her through the maze of pipes and wires. She moved like she knew every corner, every shortcut. Who are you, really? He asked between breaths. Seren Vallis, she replied. Agent of the Terran Restoration, her voice firm. And I swore to protect the air of Earth. No matter the cost. Elias felt the weight of her words. He clutched the ring tightly. It pulsed once against his palm. Like a heartbeat, like it was alive, they turned a corner, the hallway opening into a large viewing deck overlooking Orion's core reactor. A storm of light and energy spinning endlessly. Seren stopped and looked at him. The vault is hidden beneath that, she said, pointing downward. But we'll need access through the lower energy tunnels. Elias looked at the glowing heart of the station and exhaled slowly. And if we fail? Seren smiled faintly, her silver eyes reflecting the reactor's light. Then Earth sleeps a little longer, she said. But if we succeed, the galaxy will remember her name. Elias looked down at the ring again, feeling its warmth spread through his hand. He didn't know if he believed in destiny, but something inside him whispered that this was only the beginning. Above them, alien drones moved through the corridors. Scanning for life signs, the hunt had begun, and Elias Ward, once a simple trader, was now a fugitive carrying the last heartbeat of Earth. The hunt begins. The metallic corridors of Orion Station echoed with the rhythm of danger. Alarms pulsed like red veins through the hallways. The low hum of the reactor trembled beneath their feet. Elias Ward followed Seren Vallis as she led him through narrow tunnels lit only by flickering blue emergency lights. Every few seconds her hand would tap a console, cutting cameras, sealing doors, buying them seconds of survival. Outside, the alien patrol spread across the station like a tightening net, armored enforcers with glowing visors, their scanners humming as they searched for one human signature. The voice on the station comms repeated coldly. Priority target Captain Elias Ward, Terran origin. Armed and dangerous. Elias gritted his teeth. They think I'm some kind of war criminal, he muttered. I was just a traitor. Serene glanced back, her silver eyes calm but sharp. Not anymore, she said softly. They know you carry something they fear. The crest of Earth was forbidden for a reason, Elias. It's not just a memory, it's power. They stopped at a small maintenance bay filled with old Terran cargo pods. Serene pulled out a handheld device, scanning for signals. The security division is closing in from the east tunnels, she said quickly. We have 3 minutes before they sweep this section. Elias frowned. So what's the plan? Serene's lips curved into a small, confident smile. We make them lose the scent, she said, and tossed him a small sphere from her pocket. Smoke module, Terran tech, obsolete by their standards, but still works the moment she activated it. The bay filled with thick silver smoke, shimmering with static. The scanners of the enforcers jammed instantly. Outside, confused voices echoed through comms. Signal lost. Repeat, signal lost. Elias coughed, covering his mouth. You planned for this? I planned for everything, Seren said, grabbing his hand, pulling him toward a service elevator hidden behind crates. The doors hissed shut just as heavy footsteps thundered outside. The elevator dropped fast, the station's walls rushing upward around them. Where are we going? Elias asked, steadying himself. The underdeck, Seren replied. Below the commerce levels, below even the reactors. There's a section of the station most aliens avoid. She looked at him. It's where the Terrans built their core before Orion was taken over. Elias stared at her. You mean this whole station was human once? Serene nodded slowly. Before the fall, humans built the first structures here. The aliens only expanded it later. They erased the records, changed the name. But this was once Terra's frontier. The elevator stopped with a jolt. The doors opened to reveal darkness, flickering lights and silence. Metal dust floated in the air like ash. They stepped out, the floor creaking under their boots. The air felt different here, heavy, ancient, like the station itself remembered who built it. Seren turned on a wrist light, illuminating walls covered with faded symbols, Terran words and flags. Half buried under grime, one of them caught Elias's eye, a worn carving of the rising flame within a circle of stars, the same crest engraved on his ring. He touched it gently. My ancestors stood here, he whispered. Seren nodded. And they left something behind, she said. The Codex Terra, the archive of everything humanity lost, science, strategy, even the records of the last fleet's command. Elias turned the ring in his hand. The hologram said only I could open it. How? Saren smiled faintly. The ring contains a living AI fragment. A piece of the Flame Fleet's command system, she said. It reacts to the Ward bloodline. It's not just a key. Elias, it's a commander's seal. Before he could answer, the sound of boots echoed down the hallway. Alien voices shouting. The enforcers had found them. Go, Saren whispered. Take the east corridor. It'll lead to the old Terran access core. What about you? He asked. I'll slow them down, she said, pulling a compact blaster from her coat. Don't argue. Your survival is more important than mine. Elias hesitated, then nodded. He turned and ran, the corridor shaking as blaster fire erupted behind him. Sparks flying across the walls, Saren's voice echoed faintly through the chaos. Find the vault, Elias! Find it for all of us! He sprinted through twisting hallways, the air thick with dust and echoes of forgotten battles. The station structure groaned under the weight of centuries. Then as he turned a corner, his ring began to glow. Blue symbols flickering across its surface, he slowed down, staring as the light projected faint holographic arrows in the air, guiding him forward. What are you showing me? He whispered. Following the glowing path deeper into the underdeck, the walls changed from alien metal to old Terran steel, covered in rust but still strong. He reached a massive door sealed by strange mechanical locks. Above it, carved in fading letters, were the words, Vault of Memory, Terran command access only. Elias pressed the ring to the panel. The light pulsed, a soft hum echoed, and the metal door groaned open, revealing a chamber filled with cold light and silence. Inside were rows of capsules, glowing faintly with suspended holographic data. Millions of memories, maps, faces, and stars, floating in frozen streams of blue light. Elias stepped forward, awe and fear mixing inside him. This is it, he whispered. The Codex Terra, suddenly the ring vibrated violently, and a holographic face appeared beside him. It was the same old man as before. Admiral Leon Ward, his voice calm but urgent. Welcome. Heir of Earth, the hologram said. The galaxy has forgotten your homeworld, but through you, her flame burns again. Elias clenched his fist, his eyes burning with determination. They tried to erase us, he said softly. But they failed. The hologram nodded. Then prepare yourself, for the stars will remember what it means to fear Earth once more. Behind him, distant explosions echoed through the tunnels, Saren's last defense falling under the alien assault. Elias looked back at the vault's entrance, his pulse steady, his decision made. Then let them come, he whispered. I'll show them what it means to awaken a Terran. The vault's lights blazed brighter. The codex hummed with life, and deep within the station's ancient core, something vast began to awaken, an old Terran signal, silent for centuries, calling out across the void. And somewhere above, the aliens scanning the stars stopped in horror as their systems picked up the impossible transmission code. Earth Fleet Recall, active. The Vault of Memory. The vault glowed with a pale blue light, filling the air with a deep humming rhythm like a heartbeat of metal and time. Elias Ward stood in the center, surrounded by swirling holograms of Terran ships, maps, and lost faces, his mind racing as thousands of images flashed around him. Fleets, battlefields, cities, oceans, all gone but alive again in light. The voice of the old admiral echoed softly through the vault. Humanity is not dead, heir of Earth. It sleeps in the memory of the stars. The hologram flickered, showing the great fleets of the Terran Flame Command, the dreadnoughts, the arc ships, and the command nexus of the flame houses. The galaxy believed we burned, but the flame cannot die. Elias reached out, his hand trembling as he touched one of the holographic orbs. It opened into a stream of data, showing star charts, hidden coordinates, Terran colonies long thought destroyed. They survived, he whispered, then they scattered. They hid, the hologram nodded slowly. Fragments of our kind endure in exile, but they wait for the signal. For you. Before Elias could respond, the ground shook violently, dust falling from the ceiling. The echo of blaster fire rolled through the tunnels. He turned sharply, the sound of footsteps coming closer. Saren Vallis stumbled into the vault, her coat torn, her shoulder bleeding. Smoke rising behind her. She looked pale but alive. They found us, she gasped. Security forces from 3 sectors. They're sealing the lower decks. We don't have much time. Elias ran forward, catching her arm. "You're hurt," he said quickly. She smiled faintly, shaking her head. "I've been through worse," she said, then looked around, her eyes widening at the sight of the vault. "So it's true," she whispered. "You found it, the Codex Terra." Elias nodded. "It's more than data," he said. "It's everything we were, everything they erased." He pointed to the central column of the vault. "The Codex links to an old Terran command network. If we activate it, it might send a signal across the stars." Seren stepped closer, examining the terminal, her voice soft but urgent. "You need to understand what that means," she said. "If you activate it, you're declaring the return of Earth. Every alien empire will see it, and they will come for you." Elias looked at her, his eyes steady. "Let them," he said quietly. "We've hidden long enough." Seren hesitated, then sighed. "You really are his descendant," she whispered. "Leon Ward, the last admiral of the Flame Fleet." Elias frowned. "You knew my ancestor?" "Not directly," she said, "but I was made from his legacy." He stared at her, confused. "Made?" Seren took a deep breath, her silver eyes glowing faintly. "Before the fall, Terran scientists created hybrid guardians," she explained. "Human DNA mixed with alien adaptability, built to survive any world, any war. To protect the line of the flame houses," she looked down, her voice softer. "I am one of them." Elias blinked in shock. "You're not human?" "I'm half," she said, smiling sadly. "But my purpose is human, to serve and protect the blood of Terra." The ground shook again, louder this time. The sound of plasma charges hitting the outer doors. Sparks rained from the ceiling. The aliens were cutting through. Seren looked at him, her tone sharp now. "There's no more time, Elias. The vault must be sealed again once you activate the Codex, or they'll take it and twist it into their weapon." Elias clenched his fists, his mind spinning between fear and determination. "What happens when I activate it?" "The Codex will awaken the Flame Protocol," she said. "A signal that can reach every surviving Terran system. It will reawaken what sleeps beneath the stars. Old fleets, AI guardians, colonies lost to time." She hesitated. "But it will also mark you. The galaxy will know the heir has returned." Elias looked at the glowing ring on his hand. It pulsed gently like a heartbeat. "Then it's time," he whispered. Stepping toward the Codex core, Seren watched him, her eyes soft. "Once you do this, there's no going back," she said quietly. "You'll carry the weight of a world." Elias smiled faintly. "Then I'll carry it proudly." He pressed the ring into the activation slot. A surge of light shot upward. Filling the vault, the holograms flared. The symbols of Earth, the rising flame projected across the chamber walls. A deep, resonant voice echoed from the Codex. "Ancient yet alive. Command protocol recognized. Ward Bloodline verified. Flame command awakening." The air trembled. The ring burned with energy, and outside the vault, every Terran relic across the galaxy lit up at once. Buried ships beneath moons, forgotten satellites in dead systems, all stirring awake. Seren covered her eyes as the light grew blinding, then slowly dimmed, leaving the vault pulsing with quiet power. "It's done," Elias said, breathing heavily. "The signal sent." Seren looked at him with a strange expression, half awe, half sorrow. "You just changed the galaxy," she whispered. "Do you understand what you've done?" Elias nodded. "I brought Earth back to life," he said. "Now they'll remember who we are." The door behind them exploded open. Alien enforcers stormed in, shouting commands, blasters raised. Seren stepped forward instantly, firing back with impossible speed. Her movements a blur. She fought like a machine born for war. "Go," she shouted. "Get to the lift. I'll hold them off." "I'm not leaving you," Elias yelled. She turned to him, eyes fierce and shining. "You must, Elias," she said. "You are Earth's future." "I am only its shadow." A blast hit the wall near her, sending sparks flying. Elias hesitated, torn between running and fighting, but Seren gave him a small smile. "You'll see me again," she whispered, when the stars burned Terran red once more. Then she turned, firing one last volley as Elias sprinted toward the exit, the sound of battle fading behind him, the vault sealing itself with a deep metallic roar. He reached the old elevator, gasping for breath, the ring glowing brighter than ever as the lift rose. He looked back one last time at the chamber below, glowing faintly through the metal grates, and somewhere deep in the black of space, far beyond Orion Station, ancient Terran ships stirred, reactors awakening after centuries of silence. The stars themselves seemed to whisper. Earth endures. The return of the crest. The elevator doors opened with a hiss, revealing the upper decks of Orion Station bathed in chaos. Alarms screamed through the corridors. Lights flickered red, and the station trembled as systems overloaded from the pulse of the newly awakened Terran signal. Elias Ward stepped out, smoke curling around him, the ring on his hand glowing like a small sun. Every screen on the walls flickered, alien symbols replaced by one emblem, a circle of 12 stars and a rising flame, the forgotten crest of Earth, the mark that had been banned for 2 centuries. Now blazing proudly across every display, the alien citizens froze where they stood, whispering in fear and confusion. What is that symbol? Someone hissed. It can't be real. Earth was destroyed. Elias pushed through the crowd, his coat torn, his face marked with ash. But his eyes burned with purpose. He reached the docking bay, only to find it surrounded by Orion command troopers, their weapons drawn, armored in silver with red visors. The commander at the front raised a hand, his voice cold and sharp. Captain Elias Ward, he said, by order of the Galactic Council, you are charged with treason. Surrender the Codex of Earth immediately. Elias stopped, his heart pounding. Behind him, the distant rumble of engines echoed. The Terran signal was spreading, awakening ancient systems across the stars. He looked at the commander calmly. You call it treason, he said. I call it memory, the commander sneered. Humanity brought war and ruin to the stars, he said. We erased your kind to keep peace. Elias's eyes hardened. Peace built on fear isn't peace, he said quietly. It's silence. The commander aimed his rifle. Then you will return to silence, he growled. Before he could fire, the entire station shook violently, the ground rumbling like thunder. The bay's blast shields opened automatically, revealing the void beyond, and in that darkness, light appeared one after another. Massive silhouettes emerging from hyperspace. Dozens of ships, ancient, colossal, and unmistakably Terran, descended into orbit, their hulls scarred but alive. The flame dreadnoughts of Earthfleet, their insignias burning across their sides. The aliens gasped, their scanners lighting up with warnings, their comms filled with panic. It's impossible! One shouted. Those ships were decommissioned millennia ago. A deep voice echoed across every channel, old but commanding. This is Fleet Admiral Leon Ward. By command of the Flame Protocol, Earthfleet returns. Elias looked up, tears burning his eyes, the voice of his ancestor echoing through time. The galaxy may forget us, the voice continued, but humanity remembers. The flame never dies. The alien troops hesitated, their confidence crumbling. The commander lowered his weapon slowly, staring at the glowing Terran insignia in the sky. Elias stepped forward, his voice calm but filled with steel. Tell your council, he said, Earth has awakened. We do not seek war, but we will not kneel again. The commander's visor flickered, his expression unreadable. Then without a word, he and his troops retreated, the alien forces scattering as the enormous Terran ships aligned in formation, their engines glowing bright gold. A small shuttle descended from the largest dreadnought. Landing gently in the bay, the hatch opened, and from the steam stepped Seren Valis, alive though wounded. Her silver eyes glowing stronger than before, she smiled faintly at Elias. You didn't think I'd let you finish this alone, did you? Elias stared, stunned. You survived, he breathed. Barely, she said, walking toward him. The vault sealed before the final blast, and the codex. It protected me. She touched the glowing ring on his hand. It seems the blood of the flame still knows how to keep promises. Elias smiled, the chaos around them fading as the vast shadow of Earthfleet filled the horizon. We did it, he whispered. Earth lives again. Seren looked at the stars through the bay's window. Her voice soft. No, she said. Earth remembers again. Above them, the dreadnoughts turned slowly, their engines burning brighter, forming the old Terran fleet formation known as the Circle of Flame. The sight was so bright it lit the surface of nearby moons. Messages flooded the channels from across the galaxy, some in fear, some in awe, some in hope. Voices whispering the same name long thought erased: Terrans. The humans have returned. Elias stood at the viewport, his reflection shining against the burning fleets. They feared our silence, he said quietly. Now they'll hear our voice. Seren looked at him. What will you do now, Lord of Earth? She asked softly. He smiled faintly. I'll do what my ancestors couldn't, he said. I'll rebuild without revenge. I'll bring back the flame not to burn but to guide. Outside, the flagship TSS Resolute transmitted one final message through every system in range, a signal that echoed across empires, worlds, and forgotten colonies alike. To all who remember Earth, your home calls you back. Elias closed his eyes as the words played, feeling the pulse of 1,000 lights awaken across the stars. Lost Terran outposts lighting up one by one, answering the ancient call. Seren rested her hand on his shoulder.
"It's only the beginning," she said softly. Elias nodded,
staring into the endless dark that no longer felt empty. "Then let's make sure the galaxy never forgets us again," he whispered. And as the fleets of Earth rose from the shadows of history, the stars themselves seemed to burn brighter, reflecting the flame that refused to die. The flame of humanity, reborn, eternal, and unbroken.